Hey guys, and welcome to another Rings of Power Season 2 review. Today we're toasting and roasting Episode 2, and Episode 3 review will be out on Sunday. You don't want to miss it. If you do, Sauron's blonde wig will find you and brutalize your hairline, so please subscribe and tune in on Sunday. After you're done with this video, feel free to check out Episode 1 review if you haven't already, but now enough chit-chat, let's get right into it. Rings of Power Season 2 Episode 2 starts in Khazad-dûm. We're catching up with some characters who were absent from the first episode. I'll be honest, I dislike the whole idea of what Rings of Power clearly is. Nothing they can do can erase the fact that they've shown us their agenda after Season 1, but I'll give credit where credit is due. The transition as we enter the Dwarven halls was pretty cool, and the set design is nice. At least the budget went into something. In Khazad-dûm, we catch up with Disa and Duran. Now Duran had a fight with his father, and apparently this means that Daddy cut his allowance. So now Prince Duran has to work in the mines where he gets bullied by the other mean dwarves. And he and Disa have to live more frugally. Instead of a big mushroom, they're gonna be feasting on this small one. But Khazad-dûm has bigger issues than mini mushrooms. There's an earthquake, which is apparently connected to the volcano eruption that created Mordor. It's like an aftershock spreading into the halls of Khazad-dûm. And because of this earthquake, the lights go out and the dwarves can't grow crops anymore. Their source of light from the outside is gone. Even Disa singing to the rocks doesn't help. It actually makes things worse. Now Disa also tries to convince Prince Duran and King Duran to talk it out, and honestly, these scenes aren't too bad. Still fiction, remember, stuff like this doesn't honor Tolkien. Disa is made up, Prince Duran is technically a book character, but here he's been given a big Amazon twist, and that is kind of the biggest issue. Had they just called this show fiction, loosely inspired by Tolkien, it wouldn't feel like such a slap in the face. Or, as our neighbors in Croatia would say, shamar. Always love that word. Sounds dwarven. I might use it more in these reviews. Next, we get some really uncomfortably close shots of Galadriel. Look, she's a good-looking woman, but I don't want to see all her pores. She has some visions or premonitions about Celebrimbor dying because of her, and the elves are preparing to attack Sauron, Mordor, Adar, but yet Gil-galad doesn't care enough about Eregion to make sure that that place is Sauron-free. Now, Galadriel does ask him to let her go to Eregion, and I swear, no one in this show uses their brain. Because Gil-galad is like, No, my child. Eregion is well protected. Sauron is not gonna go back there. Nonsense. Well, why not go there anyway and make absolutely sure that Celebrimbor got your message? You know what? It would be incredible if Gil-galad were secretly a bad guy, trying to deceive everyone, throw them off the scent, undermine them. But no, he's just incredibly stupid in this show. But the issue is also with Galadriel, because even though she wants to go to Eregion to see what the situation is, her logic just leaves you speechless every time. Sauron knows my mind, and I his, which is why I alone can slay him. Girl, you may slay in this dress, but sit down. You know his mind? You know nothing of his mind. You hardly listened to him. You invented it in your mind that he is king of the Southlands. You saw only what you wanted to see. It's what's commonly known as deception. You admitted to it in the last episode. You said it yourself. He deceived me, I was deceived. So how can you be so certain that what you think you know about him and his mind is indeed true? They're taking this younger Galadriel is naive and brash way too far. Also, we get a little bit more of that recycled dialogue in this member berry of a conversation. Yeah, Gil-galad and Galadriel find out that their abilities to see the future have been kindled by the rings, and they speak about seeing things that have not yet come to pass. Man, this show just really loves purloining lines, doesn't it? Then again, when they come up with their own lines, we get talks about raw meat, and if I have to choose, I'd rather get stolen dialogue. It's true, Sauron, still in his Hal Brand form, did go to Eregion, hoping to meet with Celebrimbor, but Celebrimbor refuses to accept him. Galadriel told me not to speak to him. I must obey. I would accept him if I could, but I can't, so I shan't. Yeah, well, how long do you think that lasts? Hal Brand refuses to leave, and Celebrimbor's assistant sees that he's injured. You can see her slowly being all like,
I can change him.
"Shall I bring him a shawl, my lord?" Yeah, we'll get back to Eregion at the end of this review. We get more scenes of the lead singer Nori and her band, the Desert Wanderers, scenes which we religiously skip, and by we I mean I. And yeah, there's another probably made-up character, unless he's one of the Blue Wizards, the Wizard of Rune, and his witches, some of which we saw last season. Honestly, anything left of Tolkien's lore is so broken at this point, I can't even keep up with it anymore. But I also care less about this subplot than some others, so we are swiftly moving on, and leaving them to their desert devices. At long last, Gil-galad agrees that Galadriel and a few elves can go investigate Eregion. She wants Elrond to come along and go talk to him. Now, Elrond is the only one against using the rings, and he's still mad at Galadriel, rightfully so. But jokes aside, he's serving this season. The man is saltier than beef jerky, but he is serving those lines to Galadriel on a silver platter. It's kinda satisfying, and I mean, he's not wrong. Now, a little side note, when they showed this flashback of Galadriel and Sauron, I got such a strange feeling. I was just thinking, please don't. Don't you dare. They better not kiss, and they didn't. But man, I don't trust this show one bit. This was very suspicious. They've botched Tolkien's lore so badly already, but if they ever show these two kiss in a flashback or otherwise, I have no words. Ultimately, it's decided that Elrond will lead the company of elves who will go to Eregion, which means that Elrond is now Galadriel's commander. Spicy! Okay, so back to Eregion. Celebrimbor goes to tell Hal Brand to leave, and even though his servant is holding this leaf of an umbrella over his head, he's still soaking wet for whatever reason. But anyway, Hal Brand has no problems convincing Celebrimbor to let him stay. How does he do it? Well, by starting to talk about the rings, of course. How well they worked, what a success they were, what an achievement for Celebrimbor. And okay, I can't fault them for going down this route. They wanted to show how Sauron exploits his victims' weaknesses, and they did show that. Celebrimbor invites Hal Brand in, and Hal Brand essentially openly tells Celebrimbor that he is not who he thinks he is. Well, half openly. He reveals himself to be Anatar, the sharer of gifts. So what I mean is, he does a fake reveal. Better late than never, I guess? 3 rings are already made, rings are forged out of order, Anatar is only now showing up, technically, but you know, it's just lore. Hal Brand steps into the fire and completes his transformation into a blonde with a bad hairline. I say justice for Charlie Vickers, because he did not deserve this. But you know, the bigger problem here is, Celebrimbor is so smitten with him, he doesn't care that this man lied about his whole identity. Not suspicious at all, especially since he wants to make even more rings. Let's go, let's make them, yippee! Not suspicious at all, not at all. Now, my thoughts on the costumes this episode. Nice green dress, I quite liked it. Galadriel's wardrobe overall, so far, in this season is a little bit of an improvement. Then we saw the council members who had some interesting designs. I didn't care to do a deep dive, but, you know, nothing stood out like a sore thumb, so I'm fine with that. The designs were intriguing and elven enough, I suppose. My only complaint would be Gil-galad's outfit here. I find the design to be a bit incohesive. There are so many different elements, like why is this asymmetrical cape necessary? It looks a bit modern. You know, what is its purpose? Cover his left shoulder so that he doesn't catch a chill standing next to someone as cold as Galadriel? I don't know, you tell me. Anyway, this is all for this episode. Let me know what you thought of it. Numenor and Izzy will be the focus of episode 3, which I'm actually quite looking forward to, believe it or not. So I'll see you back tomorrow for episode 3 review, and never forget...
The sea is always right!
The sea is always right!